What?
What's okay? Hey, everybody. I have a special guest today, and this is my first time getting a chance to lay eyes on Jerry in real time and to speak to him. Let's welcome Jerry King, the man behind Cloud Over Jupiter, Moonx, and many other things. How you doing, Jerry?
Really good, really good. It's Wednesday and the sun is shining. My cat is safe.
I'm not going there.
I couldn't resist it. Sorry.
Oh, what a night! What a night that was. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad the cat is safe. Jerry, I want to first again just get right to the chase. Thank you so much for asking me to participate in your music endeavors. The Call Over Jupiter isn't the first thing I've done with you. The jazz thing compilation, was really happy to be a part of that. But if you could take us back, Jerry, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started in music. How long you been playing?
Before that though, I want to say thank you for having me on. I'm honored, and I think what you do here is really commendable for everybody in music, really. I mean, just
Thank you.
I love watching your videos where you talk about albums. You've introduced me to a lot of new music. um I share most of your political views, and and just having guests on and things like that. it's it's an
Thanks.
honor to
Thanks,
be here.
Jerry. Thank you, Jerry. And I'm glad that you're here with us today. Thank you so much. Tell us
uh,
about you. Tell us about your music history a bit, please.
well, I'll try to keep it brief, but I was about 10 years old, and it was Christmas time, and I wanted this little hockey game
Hmm.
so bad. I wanted this hockey game. And when it came time to open up the gifts, there was no hockey game there.
Oh
My
man.
brother had talked my mother into buying me a bass guitar.
What?
And I was so disappointed I did not get that hockey game.
I can
Uh,
feel you.
Instead, I got this little K bass guitar with a single pickup. I still have it today.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, yeah. And um, it wasn't long after that. It's kind of sketchy there, but
Hmm.
somewhere in there, my brother taught me the notes
Hmm.
and how to play simple bass lines and stuff like that. He was only 4 years older than me, and he was in
Hmm.
band in school and stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that's where I really learned. I learned from him mostly in the beginning.
Cool. And have you been in bands like that have toured and stuff? Have you done any of that, Jerry?
We were in the late 70s.
Hmm.
I was in a band called Zany Star Blaster.
Oh, that's where this comes from then.
Yep. Yes, that's it. Yep.
Okay, okay.
That's me and my good friend Mike Kinney on the front.
Hmm.
We started Zany Star Blaster. I was on guitar, he was on bass, and then we added some other musicians, and we played for about 2.5 to 3 years, and we toured about 7 states in the Midwest.
Okay, okay.
And we mixed in some of our own original songs, but mostly it was covers.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were full time. That's all we did.
Wow.
We played a lot of dates. We played a lot of dates on the road all over.
Hmm.
So, but you know, we had some agents that booked
Hmm.
us all over the place,
Hmm.
but we never made it. As they
Hmm.
say, made it. It
It's
was,
so
it was
much fun though. It's fun though, isn't it?
when you're young, it is.
Yeah, that's the qualifier because you've heard me say I've been offered tours in recent times and I'm done with couch surfing. If I can get a proper tour, I'll take it. But yeah, those days are over.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard sleeping in the back of a van and just actually the van in Zany Star Blaster was half loaded up with equipment, you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
And we would go and we'd play a show, and we each take $10 each to
Hmm.
live on for the day, and all
Yeah,
the rest of the money would go right back into the gear.
that's how you
That's
do
what we
it.
did.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's how you do it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, Jerry, I get the impression that you're a good um, connector with people. It's like all the people that you've worked with on the various records, the Moonx, John Shirley. Are you on this?
No,
Syphilis? Okay,
no,
okay. That, yeah,
no,
that,
no.
and then the Cloud Over Jupiter. Could you tell us a little bit about the development of the project and how you connected with all these different musicians like myself?
Well, it was through Facebook.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, just it was back around 2013, I want to say,
Hmm.
and I finally had enough of playing in cover bands.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I just said, either I'm going to really do something or I'm just going to quit. One or the
Hmm.
other, but it's just keep playing the same old cover songs over and over again. I just couldn't do it.
I hear you.
And because you're in this little confined space when you play those songs,
Yeah,
and there's no way to expand them really. If you
right.
don't have people that can jam with
Hmm.
you, there's nowhere to go. You're
Yeah,
just it's this little routine thing. It's a 3.5 minute song, and it's always a 3.5 minute song.
yeah, yeah.
So I wanted to expand what I did.
Hmm.
And and so I went and got rid of some of my road gear,
Hmm.
and I bought a 32 track Korg D3200 deck,
Nice.
which I still have.
Hmm.
But and then I started recording,
Hmm.
and I wrote a song and I recorded it, and I gave it to some of my friends, and they said, "Oh yeah, this is really good. Boy, I didn't know you could sing like that," and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I wrote a second song, and I actually wanted to catch like a Jimi Hendrix kind of vibe
Hmm.
with the songs,
Hmm.
and because that's where my roots were really.
Yeah,
My brother brought home "Are You Experienced" when I was, 1967. He brought it home, and
yeah.
that was like eyes popping open.
No doubt, no
Um,
doubt. Hmm.
yeah. So then, um, the Cloud Over Jupiter thing happened with the second song, really,
Mm.
and that was it's called "That Red Guitar."
Hmm.
I played the bass, I played the rhythm guitars, I played the lead, I sang it, and then I had a drum machine. Yep.
Hmm.
And I sent it out.
Hmm.
I thought to myself, what's the worst thing that's going to happen if I
Hmm.
send it to somebody and they say, "Don't bother me"?
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
I wasn't going to be a pest to anybody.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I just sent it out, and I said, "Hey, if you get a chance to listen to this, let me know what you think." I just wanted some feedback.
Hmm.
So I did that with a few people, and one of the people that I did send that to was a guy named Pete Thompson, who was the drummer for Robin Trower in the 80s.
Oh, wow. Wow, cool.
And Pete, he emailed back in Facebook, and he said, "Yeah, I don't really have time right now, but I'll listen to it. Maybe in a couple of weeks I'll get back to you." And I said, "Okay,
Mhm.
great, thank you for your time." I
Yeah,
wasn't gonna pester him.
yeah.
So, but it was about 10 minutes later, he emailed back and he said, "Holy shit, is this good?" He says,
Nice.
"Wow, you rock, man," and all this kind of stuff. And he was giving me compliments, and he was
Hmm.
saying, "Hey, you got a drum machine on there. Do you want a real drummer on it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to have a real drummer on it." And he says,
Nice.
"I can do it." So
Wow.
I sent him all the tracks. He drummed to it.
Hmm.
And then I had this song that was mixed by him, and um, I could present it to people. Then I
Hmm.
could say, "Hey, this is what I do,"
Hmm.
you know. But then I started recording more songs and sending them out. And I looked at it and I thought, wait a second, none of this sounds like Jimi Hendrix anymore. none of this sounds like none of this sounds like blues anymore. It was definitely prog
Hmm.
of some sort, maybe
Yeah,
more King Crimson like or something like that. And so then I thought, well, I'm just going to go that route.
it's a good thing you did.
And yeah, yep, yeah.
You created your own sound. Jerry, the thing that I noticed in particular on the latest Cloud Over, because I've gone back and listened to some of the other stuff, is you're a very good guitarist. You really are. And
Well,
go ahead.
I was just going to say I appreciate it. I don't consider myself to be good. I think my real strength is arranging.
Hmm.
I know how to arrange songs pretty well, and I got a lot of experience with it in Moonmen,
Hmm. Hmm.
because in Moonmen somebody always started the source track,
Yeah.
and then they would send it off to probably me next,
Hmm.
and then to Bill to do the drums, and
Hmm.
then Dave Newhouse was always last. He
Yeah.
always had, but then they would go and send all of their tracks back to me. I
Hmm.
was the hub,
Gotcha.
and I kept everything organized.
Hmm.
They gave me that assignment that I should do that. And so what I did was I did all my what I call pre-mixes,
Hmm.
and I would send it to the guys, and then they would say, "Oh, you need more of this," or the drums are too loud, or whatever,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then I would adjust it all, and then finally they'd say, "You got it,"
Mm.
and that's when we would send it off to the person who was really going to do the mix,
Hmm. Gotcha.
and we would say, "This is kind of what we want,"
Hmm.
and if you have any other ideas, add it. So
There's
so that's
yeah.
where I got the arranging thing from, arranging and the pre-mixing and all of that kind of stuff.
Well, it's in your playing. I want to compliment you that you have a variety to the way that you play. And I was now correct me if I'm wrong. There's a really good solo on the latest Cloud. That's you playing solos on the latest Cloud Over Jupiter record. Guitar
I do
solos.
on I do on a couple, but there's Pete Brown, there's Nick Dudkovsky on there,
Okay,
and yep, and others on there playing solos.
I see. So I have to look more closely. I might be giving you credit for what
Yeah,
they did.
yeah, yeah. Well, there's a insert card in one of the
Yeah,
pockets that
I've
has
got
all
it. I'll have to look
yep,
again closely. Now,
yeah,
of the moon stuff, I really like this one, but like this one the best so far.
Moonx, yeah. See, with Moonmen made 5 albums,
Yes.
and then Bill, who was the drummer,
Hmm.
had an injury to his ankle, I believe it was,
Hmm.
and he said, "I gotta quit. I gotta quit for a while. I'm
Wow.
gonna have to take a break."
Mhm.
And we thought about getting another drummer, and then Brett said, "Well, if Bill's not going to be in it, I don't want to continue either." So
Okay.
so then it was just Dave and I said,
Okay.
"Well, Dave, do you want to continue on?" And Dave said, "I'd love to."
Mhm.
And we got Dave's son George
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
to fill the drummer's seat there, and um, continued on as Moonx.
Right. And you have a new one coming out, or you're working on a new one, right?
It's the music is actually done. The artwork is 90% done. It might even be finished. I think we're real close.
Okay. Okay. I was
Hmm.
surprised to hear that you say that you still work a job because judging by how much I see you on Facebook, it seems like you're busy with music all the time.
I am. I am actually. I don't have any kids,
Okay.
and right now I just have Bootsy, my cat. I don't
Hmm.
have any other animals to take care of or anything. So
Hmm.
it's just me and my wife. She works a full-time job.
Hmm.
I work 3 days a week.
Oh, you have time then. Yeah.
Yeah, I work 3 days a week, and then
Mhm.
try to spend my free time on working on music.
It looks like it. And it looks like you practice almost every day or play every day, pretty much.
I do. Yeah, I try. I get up. I go to bed about 9:30 at night. I get up around 5 o'clock
Hmm.
in the morning, and I go into the basement and do probably a half hour to 45-minute workout on guitar
Wow.
every day. Run through
Beautiful.
chords.
Hmm.
Try to learn new things. Try to challenge myself all the time,
Hmm.
and that's the key. That's the key to practicing, I think, is challenge yourself. Because
Hmm.
if you're just playing the same old stuff all the time, you never really advance.
True. That's very
Yeah.
true. Very true.
Well, back in the 80s, starting about 1987 through 1999,
Mhm.
I taught guitar.
Okay.
and I had to learn a lot of different styles
Mm.
because I had a lot of different students. I
Wow.
don't I taught at one point I was teaching 6 days a week.
Whoa.
Yeah. And what I did was I worked at the job that I still have now in the morning. It
Mm-hmm.
was a part-time job. I worked 8 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
Then I drove 35 minutes to take some classes
Mm.
at the university.
Wow.
And then I would go drive back home and start teaching like around 4 o'clock.
Man, you're
And then
really into it. That's awesome.
I would teach till 9 o'clock at
Man,
night.
you're just, that's what you do. Music is what you do.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yep.
impressive, Jerry. So, um, congratulations on getting the new Cloud Over Jupiter released by Melodic Revolution. Is most of your stuff self-released? And is this a
Yes.
new, and so this is kind of like a new chapter, perhaps?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. It's an experiment for Nick Katana and also for me, I guess. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we're gonna see how it goes and take it from there. But yeah, it's brand new. Everything else prior to this was self-released.
Mm-hmm. I
So
would I would love to see in particular the latest one on vinyl. I don't know if that can ever happen, but this cover plus the music, man, I would love to see that on a full 12-inch reproduction. Wouldn't that be nice?
so would I.
I,
I dream about it.
I hope it happens. I hope that you get some. Do you have anything on vinyl yet? Anything?
No, no.
That needs
Well,
to happen.
I
It needs to happen. It does.
yeah. The lizards
Hmm.
they're all good, really good friends of mine. They're all local friends.
Hmm.
Their third album, I believe it is, Memoria. They their guitar player passed away,
Mm.
and they were working on this album, and they asked me to come in and finish it for them, basically.
Hmm.
So I did all the rhythms, I did all the leads.
Hmm.
I had nothing to do with how it was mixed.
Hmm.
That was all their decision, but I came in and did all the guitar work on it for them,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically. So
Hmm.
so that's on vinyl.
Nice.
Nice. That album is. So I'm on vinyl, but it's not one of mine.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha, Jerry. So you also collect, and you post what you're listening to. You mentioned King Crimson and Jimi Hendrix. Are those primary influences when you look at your foundation of where you started musically? Are they primary influences?
I think so, probably. Yep, somewhere in between those two. I would love to come to your house and see your record collection. I I have quite a collection too,
Hmm.
and I just love the whole vibe of going to an old record shop and
Yes,
buying used records. It's just a lot of fun,
totally,
and
totally.
I just love it.
You show a
And
good variety of music too. I'm impressed, because again, I see stuff that is fairly typical. Then I'll say stuff. Oh, he's got that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
well, I think I got that from teaching guitar. The
Hmm.
12 years that I taught guitar, I was exposed to a lot of different styles of music. Some of
Hmm.
them I didn't really care for all that
Right,
much,
right,
and
right.
some I did.
Yeah.
And but it got me accustomed to listening to things that and opening my mind about
Yes.
music. Like I can't just go and listen to one kind of music now.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, I wouldn't be able to just listen to country, for example, and not listen to something else.
Right.
I'm a rock guitar player.
Hmm.
I've always been into rock music. That's my number one thing. But
Yeah.
rock is kind of a general term that means so many different things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love country music,
Hmm.
some of it, not
Yeah.
the
Sure.
new crap that's out there, but
Hmm.
older. I love country music. I love listening to classical, all of
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
Jazz. I love jazz.
Hmm. Hmm. You bet. You bet. So, Jerry, talk a little bit about how you write. You play every day. Do ideas come while you're practicing, or do you have writing sessions? How do you come up with your material?
It usually comes with a bass line. When I started out, remember I said that when I was 10, I got that bass guitar for
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, I never even played a 6-string guitar until I was about 20 years old. I
What?
played I played bass. That's what I did. I played
Wow.
bass.
Wow.
And yeah, and that's where my heart still is.
No, no, that's interesting because I'm a bass player, but I started on the guitar, so we're kind of opposites.
Yep. Well, my friend Mike Kinney on the cover of the Zany Star Blaster
Yeah.
album,
Yeah.
he started on guitar and I started on bass. And then somewhere like around age 19 or 20, we both switched. And he's a hell of a bass player. He's top stuff around here,
Very
you know.
cool. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
haven't kept up my chops as good on bass. I concentrate now mostly on guitar and
Mm-hmm.
chording. I always say that a good song begins with a really good chord.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Mm-hmm.
you can find that chord, but quite often I find that at least half of my songs are written on the bass guitar first.
Interesting. Okay.
You know, I
And
come up with that bass line and then I just
take it from there, huh?
start putting the guitar on.
You probably got stuff in the works besides the new Moonx. You probably got stuff that you're working on already. Like,
The next cloud over Jupiter.
yep, yep.
Yeah,
Good.
I have some things there. The other thing that opened up for me too was my association with Moonmen
Mm-hmm.
and Dave Newhouse, and Dave recommended that we use E and B about for mixing.
Okay, okay.
That was like that was Moonmen number 3,
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm.
we started using Ian.
Mm-hmm.
And Ian, of course, has a studio and everything, and he has
Mm-hmm.
clients. And he said, "Hey, these guys need a bass player. You wanna track some bass guitar for their album?" And I said, "Sure."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't charge anything. I've never charged anything for what I do.
Mm-hmm.
All I say is if you're gonna press it on CD, I want at least 3
Give me
copies.
a copy. That's right. I heard that. I'm about the same. I'm about the same. And Ian is very talented at the mastering. It's a
Yes, very.
it's a good team that you're involved with. I'm so happy to be in the mix of these people. Have you met any of these guys in person yet?
No.
Hey, that's wild. That's the magic of technology. Isn't that something? We're basically an international community connected, and yet we still I haven't met any of those guys yet either. But it's such an honor to work with you guys because again, you're about the music. You're about the music, Jerry. I love that.
Yeah, it's all the music. We just want to make good music.
Mhm.
That's all it is. And if somebody likes it, that makes it even better. I
Mhm.
always say that I always say that if I send out one of my albums to somebody for a review
Mhm.
and they spin it once and they never spin it again,
Mhm.
then I failed.
Yes.
That's failure to me.
Yeah.
Because if you come back to it and you listen to it a second time or a third or a
Mhm.
fourth, then I've succeeded
Yeah.
because it was worth their time to go and do that.
And that's exactly what I had to do with your John Shirley stuff because at first, you heard me say that I love music, vocals are fine, but it's the music first, and sometimes vocal tracks will kind of put me off. So I had to come back to this to really appreciate what you guys do together, and I like this as well. I do like this. And that's another one where you just reached out and asked him if he wanted to work with you, John Shirley.
Yeah, actually, going back to the Lizards band,
Mhm.
some of the guys in there know they know members of Blue Oyster Cult,
Okay. Okay.
and how they know them, I don't know the full story,
Mhm.
but they know them so good enough that they can meet with them after their shows and all that kind of stuff and hang out with them, and
Yeah.
they keep in touch with them and everything, you know.
Hmm.
Well, John Shirley is part of that whole thing because he writes lyrics for Blue Oyster Cult.
Yes.
And again, through Facebook, I met John and I noticed that he had a couple of albums out. kind of punk albums actually. And I just said, hey, you ever think about, singing for somebody else or anything and doing something? And he said, sure, I'd love to. So I sent him a few things and he liked them, and it just went from there.
Nice, nice.
The thing about John is, and the thing about vocals too, for me, is I don't always listen to the words,
Yeah,
but
definitely don't.
if the voice doesn't sit in the song
Mhm,
properly as another musical instrument, then
mhm.
I'm not interested.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really
Yeah.
care what they're saying. The
Mhm.
voice has to sit in there just like it's a flute,
Yeah,
or if it's a saxophone or something like that. It's got to sit in the music and flow with the music. And
absolutely.
John, a lot of people don't like his voice,
Mhm.
but he can do stuff that I don't think anybody else could do.
He has
And
a cool voice.
he projects that
Hmm.
that uh horror vibe. And
Hmm.
that's, he writes horror books.
Hmm.
His lyrics are about horror and fantasy and
Right.
cyberpunk and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Hmm.
And I don't think anybody else could do that
Hmm.
to that music.
Hmm.
Maybe not all my songs fit his voice all the
Hmm.
time,
Hmm.
and I understand that.
Hmm.
You know, we try to make it into something that somebody would want to hear,
Yeah.
or try to get something that we want to hear.
Right. Well, yeah, that for me is the bottom line. It doesn't get past me. So cool. I'll be listening again after talking about the John Shirley stuff. Now, with other vocals, you and your wife work together. Have you performed live together, you and Michelle, or is it just mainly recording that you do together?
We were in a cover band for many years. Actually, the band lasted 22 years.
22 years. That's that's awesome.
Yeah.
To,
Well, but she and I were the constants. Some of
okay.
the other people came and went.
I'm letting
But
you know that I just got the prompt that we're running out of time. So
oh,
I know it goes so quick. It's not even 45 minutes, but let's keep going and I'm going to wrap it up in just a couple more minutes. But yes, so that's how you and your wife started working, was in the cover band.
yep. And then we had an acoustic group too that we did, and that was the last band performing live that we did together.
Okay.
I mean, we tried to put together a Cloud Over Jupiter band here,
Mm, mm,
here in this area, but
hmm.
it just didn't work out. For one thing, it's hard to find people who like the music.
Yeah. Hmm.
And another thing, they got to be able to play it.
Yes.
And you're looking at a band that's going to just play originals and nothing else. And
Hmm.
that's a tough sell in this small community that I'm in.
Understood. 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 Jerry, I want to thank you for your time. It's like, well, we've only talked about a half an hour, but when I talked to Steve Hackett, it just cut us off even before 45 minutes. So that's why I'm kind of thinking I should probably go ahead and sort of wrap this up. Um, is there anything from your point of view that you'd like to share with the audience regarding your music or Cloud Over Jupiter? Anything?
Yeah, I think that first of all, I want to thank you and all the other people who have been on my albums for giving me the opportunity of having your talent on there on
Thank
the
you.
music. I
Thank
mean,
you.
um, you know, you have been recording much longer than I have. You're, you've got the status of being a original artist, and I still consider myself to be an unknown person.
Well,
Uh,
I see myself the same way, Jerry. That's why I love this. We really are peers, and I really appreciate you. And your humility comes through in the music. The music is first. I love that about you, Jerry. Seriously.
well, when I get around to putting together a band, I'll come and visit you.
Sounds
We'll
good.
play
Sounds
together.
good. The other thing I want to say here on records that I do work well by myself, but I do have collaborators. I'm looking at this latest body of work that I'm working on, and I may ask you to contribute to something if you would be into it.
Oh, I definitely,
Okay.
definitely. I would
Okay.
love to.
Okay.
Yep. And like I said, I only get paid 3 CDs.
I hear you, Jerry. So
Like,
you don't publish your work, it's just copyright control, or do you have a publisher?
I do it by myself, yeah.
Got you, got you. So not much in the royalties because I was surprised when I LLC'd myself. I am making royalties. I would think
Oh,
I would think you'd be making something, a little something.
yeah, I could probably do that. Check
It's
that
it
out.
it should be
Uh,
coming. It's you deserve it. You do.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks.
Jerry, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I may bother you in the future to visit again, to talk, get on camera. Thank you so much for your time. And again, thank you for being such a decent person and a great musician.
Well, I try. I try to do everything. I mean, I try to be. That's the one thing,
Mhm,
when you're asking, like me asking you if you want to play on one of my songs,
mhm.
be, be kind.
Yeah, yeah,
Be kind.
yeah.
Be respectful. Be kind.
Mhm.
Uh, don't let your ego get in the way. You
Yeah,
know.
right.
It's just so many people. I even some local musicians around here, they think they're so great and everything, and it's just like,
Yeah, the
yeah,
heads,
I
yeah.
mean, just be humble, be kind.
Yeah.
It's a big world.
Yes, it
There's a
certainly is.
there's a lot of great players out there that can just mop you up on all over the place. But be respectful.
Absolutely.
That's the thing.
That's it. Jerry, thanks again. You
Thank you for having.
you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good, Dereck.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
You
Bye
too.
bye.